Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce CRM Analytics video session 246. So basically in today's video, we will actually continue with another application of union. What I will be doing is like we understood, what is the meaning of union actually, like how, you can map one record of the other if, records are coming from two different docs. And also we have understood how we can find the complete total. So for example, there are a particular number of records in one particular number of records in another doc, then how we can combine those two with the help of direct union. And also we understood, how we can like go for industry. Let's say there are top five industry, top three industry, and we want to do a summation of rest of them, how that can be utilized. Today, what we are going to do is we will understand like how, let's say in two different docs, there are different industry count, right? So how those two can be combined. It's quite similar to the total count, but yeah, I will just explain that. Uh, because, this is one more application of union, which is uh, regularly being applied. So we will just understand this part and let's straight away start it. Now, just to ensure I made you understand whatever I have explained, first let me once again explain you, okay, what we are going to do, the scenario that is. So here I will go to my data export. Now I already did this query actually. This is an SAQL query. What I'm doing is I'm selecting the industry count from the account and I'm grouping by industry. Okay. So now if you see, like this is my internal log. So whenever you see EACOM, in my case EACOM, this is an internal log. And if you see this ABC, that's an external log. Okay. So I think this is something I repeated a lot of times throughout my videos. But yeah, just saying it once again. Now, if you see, for example, in my internal log, agriculture has 43 records, apparel 69, banking 66, and this way it's going on. And what I will do is I will actually do the same thing in my external log. So this is my external log. And as you can see, for agriculture, I have 66, banking 3, all this. So what I'm going to do with union is I'm going to combine both this. So we are going to have one column called industry. There will be another column just beside industry where it will show me the internal count. Okay. So for agriculture, it will show me as, let's say 43. So the heading will be internal count 43, and there will be another heading called external count, which will show me as 66 over here. Okay. So that's the purpose. Fine. That is something which we are going to do today. We are going to achieve that with the help of union. Now let's go back to Analytics Studio and try to solve this scenario. Now the thing is that here we had one of the lens, if you see, okay, which is this one where I was getting the total account, total record count, in other words. Okay. I I mean my code will be more or less similar to this. So I will just take the reference of this one. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do in a new recipe. So in a new lens, so I will open this recipe account dataset. Recipe account dataset. Okay. First thing first, I will add that external one. Okay, so this is the one. Now, once it get addressed, directly I will go to this query mode and I will just copy this one over here. Okay, now here I will just here I will group it by industry. We already did such kind of simple SAQL query. And what I'm going to do with it also, I'm going to display the industry as well. Okay, since I'm grouping it by, so industry as industry. Fine. And the same thing I will do for the next one as well. Okay. So of course, instead of U1, it will be U2. Here you can also mention count, but maybe I can also mention as Q1. That is fine. Okay. Now let me just run all this query one by one. So what I'm going to do is I will press Control and this backslash to comment this out. So first, as you can see, this is showing me the internal records, right? Internal account records, the industry, I mean. So basically, if you see, this is something which is matching as well with this data export. So if I click on the data export, I can easily see like 43, 69, 66, and that's how the numbers are going. Okay. And I will check the next one. Okay. So I will just Again, uncomment this one. So as you can see, 66. So these are also the numbers which are properly matching. For technology, it's 101. Yeah. So the numbers are matching. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I will just write it as count one. Okay. And I will just mention this as count two. Right. Now, as I mentioned, the industry will be as it is, but here I will get to see the internal count, and here there will be another column which will show me the external count. So what I'm going to do is I will write union Q1, comma, Q2, and maybe I can just name this variable as Q. Okay. So that's the thing. Now let me run this once again. Cool. As you can see, I did the union. Now it's showing me count one and count two. See, this count one I can easily rename. That's not an issue. The problem is, if you see, the agriculture is getting repeated two times, right? So if you see this, like here, I'm getting to see the agriculture 43, it's coming as blank. Okay. And here also I see the agriculture, it first is coming back, next to them 66. That means if you see the industries are getting repeated, for the first instant is showing me the count for one of the org, for the next one is showing as blank, and that's why it's continuing for the next step. So that's the thing. This is something which we have to fix. This is the application of union. Union has done its work. Union is just to ensure that the records get there, get placed one after the other in different rows. Okay, this is done. But now how we can resolve this so that this count of agriculture which you see 43 over here and which you see 66 over here, this 66 displays at the top. Okay, and similarly for others, for example, this banking. So banking is 3. So beside 43, 66 will be there, and besides 66, 3 will be there, and of course we will rename this. That's not a big deal. So here, what we are going to do is we are going to group it by industry. Okay. So in that way, agriculture will come at one level. So agriculture, banking, that will come at one level. Okay. That's the purpose of grouping. So group Q by, I'm going to write industry. Cool. And here what I'm going to write is Q equal to, for each Q, generate, I'll just write industry as industry. Okay. And the next thing is I will do a summation right now. Fine. So I will do a summation of count. Okay. So I will do a summation of count one as, let's say, internal count. Okay. And I will do a summation of count two as external count. Fine. I think this is done. Okay. I think this is enough. So now I will run the query. Now, as you can see, we will just cross check 3 or 4 industries. So agriculture 43, 66. I think you already saw that. 1 minute, why it is, yeah. So 43, it is like 43 over here and 66 over here. Then banking, it is 3 over here. And banking, we have 66. That number is also matching, 66 and 3. And I am not sure if we have the technology over here. Okay, so we have the technology, which is 67. And technology here is 101, right? So we will check that as well. So technology is, yeah, technology is 67 and 101. I think everything is matching. Of course, we can resolve other things, like, for example, it's showing as dash. Instead of dash, we want to show it as 0. Okay, something like that. If you want to just show up. So that part we can do. And these are like blank. So I think here you have some blank industry also, right? Uh, yeah, if you see, like in my internal log, I have some blank industry. In my external log, we don't have any blank industry because industry is not a compulsory field. So, we can rename this also to none. Okay. So that part can always be done. For example, if I just write coalesce, okay, I can mention none. So none I will mention as, okay. So this will like pop up as none at last. Okay, and similarly, wherever you see this dash, like here we don't have, so like in my external log, I don't have an industry called apparel. So in that case, what I can do is I can also like take the use of coalesce and mention it as 0. I'm doing for both, okay, because here also we have some things like blank, for example, for construction. So I'll be doing for both of them. That's not an issue. So as you can see, this is the complete code, and this actually kind of is the solution for the scenario. So I can write count of industries from internal and external account. Okay, something like that. And I can save it in my SAQL uh, app. Okay, cool. The scenario is done. As you can see here, this is just a step where I'm just, grouping by industry and loading the industry, displaying the industry. I have the next data set from my external where I'm doing the same thing, and I'm just doing the union. But the problem is after this line, the agriculture get repeated twice because the union part is done. What I would do, I will just group it right now. So once the grouping is done, and we are utilizing the help of coalesce, but the thing is that I'm just doing a summation of this. Now the thing is that let's try to understand, like, see, at the end of the day, summation is not happening. If you see, like, this count is as it is. So for example, if I just comment all this out, if you see the agriculture count for industry is 43, and at the end of the day, this 43 will only getting displayed, right? So ultimately the summation is not happening. Can I write it as count? Okay, we can check that part maybe. Fine, we will just cross check this. So if I write it as count, what it will happen? So as you can see, it's throwing me an error because once you are doing a grouping, whatever measure comes up, see, logically, yes, the summation is not happening. Okay, because we are already classifying into two different columns, right? Like we have this internal count and we have the external count. We are having two different columns right now. So logically, the summation anyhow won't take place for agriculture. But because we are grouping by, we have to do an aggregation for measures, right? So that way it may not happen. Like here, I think if I try with count, for example, then also it won't happen. Okay, so we have to go for summation, where ultimately the summation is not happening. It's more like a count, but we have to just give it. Okay, so count we can do for q, but we cannot write a different variable which is existing over here. So that's why this summation is very important, right? So that's the thing. Okay, that's the first thing. Secondly, there might be chance in my case, the industry, the API value of industry. Okay, I mean about that column, that field name, the API field, the API name of the field is common. There's a high chances that in your case it might be a bit different. Like you never know. Like it might be something like ACC dot industry. Maybe it went through certain transformation recipe where because of some joins, some different names got happened. In your case, it can be the chance. In that case, what you have to do, let's say if it is ACC dot industry, you just write that ACC dot industry over here, and you will actually group by. Okay, you will group by both industry and ACC dot industry. So in this way, you are going to write it. Okay, ACC dot industry. Fine. And finally, here you can just do a coalesce of like both of the industries. Cool. So in that way also things can be done. And further, if for none you need, you can do it separately. But here you can do the coalesce of industry as well as your ACC dot industry. So here you can write like ACC dot industry as well. Okay. Now this concept can be applicable to any particular field. Like if you want to find about stages, okay, the count of different stages from different dogs, or if you want to find the count of type from different dogs, so it can be done for anything. But this is just one of the application I showed for industry where we have applied the union. This can be applied for other fields as well. So that's it about this one. I hope you understood it, and let's meet very soon in our next video.